Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2023, the album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy AF. A little Lady Gaga remix. Hold my hand, everything will be okay. Unless you're James Charles or Colleen Ballinger. Boost! How are you guys doing today? So, I just went to the pool. See, my hair is still wet and everything from the pool. And then I came back and I was talking to my neighbor across the street. And then I was picking my song du jour. So, I go through my iTunes. You can see right here I have the theme song from Top Gun Maverick, Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga. Right here. I go through my iTunes and I pick what song I'm going to sing for my video that day. Unless I get real bored and then I just go to my fallback of Stevie Nicks. Rock on, gold dust, Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and players only love you when they're playing. Let's see what was going to be next. A Monster by Lady Gaga. Like, my iTunes is loving the Lady Gaga today. Okay, let's see what else. Birthday by Katy Perry. No, glad that wasn't picked. Oh, a little Sinead O'Connor in the house. Hey! Oh, so sad, isn't it, that she passed away. Let's see what else I have in here. Old school, Nothing Comes to Mind by Cause and Effect from the 80s. Let's see what else. We've only just begun to shade James Charles and Colleen Ballinger. Y'all love the Carpenters from back in the day. I do. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. I'm very rested today. I'm very rested. I got a good night's sleep last night, and then I got a bunch of stuff done around the house, and I had a very lengthy phone call today. A very lengthy phone call. So, a very interesting interview will be happening on this channel. I'm not really sure when it's going to happen yet. I have to organize some travel to interview this person, but I'm very excited about this. It's actually somebody that I know. It's a friend of mine. And somebody that has been involved in pageants for a very, very long time that is ready to come out and tell their story. And they knew that I had watched the documentary recently, I believe it was on A&E, called The Secrets of the Miss America Organization. Not the organization that they are involved in, but if you don't know, I love pageants, okay? I have watched pageants for years, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, okay? My mom and I, we would put down everybody from Miss Alaska to Miss Indiana to Miss Utah, and then we would rank them just like the judges were doing on the shows. We watched Miss USA, we watched Miss America, we watched Miss Universe, we watched them all. I love pageants, okay? I absolutely, absolutely love pageants, right? And, so anyway, I love drag pageants. For those of you that don't know, my favorite YouTube channel of life is called Kalani Productions. I will link it below, if I remember. But I watch it literally like every single day because he posts literally like 5 to 10 clips every single day of drag pageants from like 1982 all the way through today. Like Miss Continental, Miss Gay US of A, Miss Gay America, Miss Black America. I mean, on and on and on, okay? And I love it so much. And so, Entertainer of the Year, which was the very first national pageant that I ever went to in Louisville, Kentucky. The year that I went, 1993, Shayla Simpson won. She has since passed away. So anyway, I love pageants so much. So, when this opportunity came up, and listen, I already know, okay, I already know the haters, the Peter Monn haters. I've already addressed this in several videos in the past and recently, but I'll address it again because I'm so excited about doing this interview. The haters will come out and go, but Peter, in 2011, when your Twitter was still private, okay, and nobody even knew who you were, and you were watching the Miss USA pageant, you tweeted to your husband that Miss Texas looked like a whore. Well, I did, okay, and I'm ashamed of it, and I'm not my proudest moment, okay? But I did. In 2011 or something like that, I tweeted to my husband while we were sitting next to each other. I said, under the name Miss Texas, it should say whore. I did. I'm not proud of it, okay? Y'all don't watch pageants and pass judgments on the people that you're in the pageant. Y'all don't do that. Okay, well, I know. It's a sin that I should go to hell for. I understand that. But I am ashamed of that, okay? I am ashamed that I said that in a video, and I've addressed, or that I said it in a tweet, and I've addressed it. I've addressed every tweet that I ever made, okay? from past and present, and the haters always want to throw those up and come for me and things like that. I don't have a problem addressing those things. You know, I've looked at each and every single one of those things and looked at why I thought it was okay at the time that I did that to say those things and why I don't believe that that's okay today. I'm not just somebody that's going to sit on camera, okay, like James Charles and a bunch of these other fools who we are going to be talking about today and say, I'm a changed person, I'm a changed, but I don't ever tell you how I changed. No, I'll tell you how I changed, okay? When those things were brought to my attention and I had forgotten that I had even tweeted them out, all right, I took those to my therapist and I went through each of them and looked at them and said, why did I think that this was okay at the time? I don't think that that's okay today, and we looked through it, you know, and I did inventory on each of those things. So I don't think it's a long ask for these people to take accountability for their actions as well. So I'm just saying, okay? So for those people out there that want to say, oh, Peter's always calling out these people. No, I walk the walk too, okay? And I don't have a problem, and I ain't going to run from these things. And I am going to interview a pageant queen that's going to tell her story, okay? She's finally ready to come out and tell her story about what happened to her behind the scenes, and I am very, very proud of her. She's going to be going on several podcasts, and she's coming out and she's telling her story about how her empowerment was that she has become empowered even though her power was taken away from her. And if you're out there and you're watching this and you think that she's going to be talking about you, you ought to be scared because she is. And it's time for her to tell her story. So I'm going to be coming out with doing that interview. I'm very excited about coming out and telling that, or having her tell her story. But anyway, today, now that I'm all rested from the pool and things like that, today we're going to talk about, I even said to her when we were talking on the phone, I said, to do this interview, I'm going to have to address these 2 tweets that I made in like 2011 where I said something about the Miss Texas and I said something else, right? And she said, don't you believe that people can change and grow? I go, absolutely, I believe that people can change and grow. She goes, well, I've known you for a very long time. And she goes, you are a perfect example of somebody that, I said, well, I'm no perfect example of anything. She goes, but you're a good example of somebody that takes accountability and tries to continue to change and grow. She goes, I think it would be a cathartic lesson to share that within the story that I'm about to tell. And I was like, thank you, because I'm not going to run from it at all. Like Manny MUA or Laura Lee or James Charles or all these. I'm not going to run from these things. Not at all. I have no problem addressing them. I'm not going to address them in every video, but I do think it's pertinent if I'm going to sit down and interview a pageant queen that I better talk about some things that I said in the past and take accountability for it. Don't you think? I do, okay? So if they're going to sit there and they're going to go to birthday parties and launches and things like that and sing these people's praises, then I think that they owe it to their audience to explain those things as well. So yes, I walk the walk, just like I asked these people to. So anyway, let's get into this video today at 7 minutes and 46 seconds. You know what? I have to tell you that the other day, oh my God, I don't even think I can find this on here now. This cracked me up so much. I don't even know when I saw this on here. I'm gonna have to go back through all of my receipts. But somebody commented about the timestamp channel because I had called out recently that there was somebody that had come up with, and it was called the Peter Monn timestamp channel. Well then, and I had made a joke of it on my channel, and somebody said, okay, but you're not the official Peter Monn. Where is it at? Oh my God, I wish I could find it. Oh, somebody said at the 10:23 minute mark, they said a fart with a question mark. Oh, here it is. Oh my God, this is the comment I was looking for. Here it is, right here. Okay, I'm loving this. So it says their profile name is the unofficial Peter Monn timestamp, okay? And they said 10:23 fart with a question mark. Like I farted on video. Y'all now listen, okay? There's a lot of things, okay, that I might start an OnlyFans for, but I ain't starting an OnlyFans for fart. You got me confused with Jacqueline Hill who has fart ideas, okay? No, I'm not farting on no videos, okay? And all that kind of stuff for you. Listen, okay? I might be gassy of the mouth, but I ain't gassy of the ass, okay? So listen, you better just get over it all day long. Okay, so anyway, I didn't really get it at first because this person put 10:23 fart, and I'm not looking at the profile name, right? And this person underneath their comment and said, not an official Peter Monn timestamp. And I'm like, what is going on here? And so when you look, it's 2 different profiles, right? And the top profile is named unofficial Peter Monn timestamp. And the one that commented and said not an official Peter Monn timestamp, their name is Peter Monn official timestamp, okay? Well, for both of you, this video starts at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about Ethan Klein and Tana Mongeau shading James Charles yet again. So, you know, Ethan Klein, H3, and all that kind of stuff, the podcast, you know, he's been gunning for James Charles just as much as I have and other people have and calling him out and his problematic behavior and things like that, right? Okay. So, you know, the streamies the other night, they had the streamies. I'll never win one, so I don't really care much about them. They always give it to undeserving people anyway, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know how. Michaela Nogueira won one. I mean, this is, y'all want to know why people continue to get away with their negative behavior. And like I said, I love award shows. I love pageants. I love award shows and all that kind of stuff, okay? But do not think for 1 second, okay, going in to the final week of Miss America, that they have not already picked who they want to win Miss America. Could you shut up? Did y'all hear them bugs and birds and things like that out there, the birds and the bees? And they did too. They listened to me. See, y'all should listen to me too. If the earth is listening to me, then you should listen to me too. But don't think that going into the top 10, okay, of Miss America, that they ain't already pissed. Well, they might have pissed themselves too, but they don't think that they haven't already picked their Miss America, because they have, okay? We've been knowing that for years and years about all these pageants, okay? Listen, the only thing you can trust these days is a local drag pageant, okay, at some small bar. That's about the only thing you can trust these days, okay? But anyway, these award shows are all a joke to me anyway. It's like the year that, you know, Shane Dawson won Creator of the Year. Oh! Rylan Adams won Vlogger of the Year that year for what, girl? Throwing up some vlogs of him dressing up like Kylie Jenner. So funny, isn't he? So funny, all that kind of stuff, right? You don't think that that was concocted and contrived, that the year that Shane Dawson won, Rylan Adams also won? Give me a break, okay? Michaela Nogueira won for Beauty Influencer of the Year. Are you kidding me? Okay, maybe on views and subscribers and followers and things like that, but you're going to tell me that the beauty influencer that was caught in the biggest lying scandal, okay, of 2022, of Mascaragate. This is where these awards, these are why people, you want to know why these people continue to thrive and grow and things like that? It's because this is how they get away with it, right? So Michaela Nogueira comes out, all right, and she lies about these mascaras, okay? Everybody in the world knows she lies about it. Everybody says it doesn't really matter. Well, she won Beauty Influencer of the World. That's a pretty big award, don't you think? She's getting sponsorships, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 sponsorships that are buying her houses. You don't think that that's a big deal? You don't think that when people like Raw Beauty Christie come out and talk about what a huge billion-dollar industry this is, you don't think that makeup is a big deal? And somebody getting in a sponsored video and lying about it, you don't think that's a big deal? You don't think that that discredits a lot of other makeup artists? You don't think that that takes away from the importance and the relevance of smaller beauty influencers that are coming on video and actually telling the truth because they have nothing financial to gain off of that? But Michaela Nogueira gets in a video and a TikTok and she lies and is caught lying about it and never comes out and addresses it. In fact, makes jokes about it, and she wins Beauty Influencer of the Year. This is why these people continue to be problematic. This is why these people continue to have platforms, right? And we're part of that problem because we continue to follow these people, all right? And don't be coming over here and being like, if you don't like Michaela Nogueira, then don't watch Michaela Nogueira. I am a drama commentary channel. This is what I talk about, okay? If you don't like me talking about Michaela Nogueira, don't watch my video. I don't know what else to tell you. And piss off, okay? So anyway, Michaela Nogueira won that, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the streaming awards, you know, there's influencer awards, YouTube awards, and things like that. And they do like TikTok and all that kind of stuff, whatever. Well, they don't say TikTok, they just like influencer, right? I always get it confused. I'm afraid I'm going to say on video the Steamy Awards. I think the Steamy Awards are like those porn star awards or something like that. I do know, I think that those are, I should Google search that. But I think that the Steamy Awards are the porn star awards. I think Tana Mongeau, who was there, I think she thought she was there to get a porn star award. I do. I think Tana Mongeau was there, and I think James Charles, if he was there, was probably looking for a date. Probably. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know Manny MUA was there because Ethan Klein said he was. Manny MUA, we know he was looking for a date. He was looking for a good porn star date. He thought he was at the Steamies. Manny, you weren't at the Steamies. You were at the Streamies, okay? And you didn't win Beauty Influencer of the World. What you won was Best Friends Loser of the Year award for being friends with Colleen Ballinger and James Charles for so long. How's that award working out for you these days, Manny? Okay, so anyway, first things first I want to talk about is that Ethan Klein, they posted a TikTok of him on the people the People at TikTok, okay? People Magazine TikTok, and it says, what are some influencer do's and don'ts? And here's the TikTok. Now, I'm not going to show you all the TikTok on here because every time that I show a TikTok on a video, literally 2 months later, it gets demonetized and copyright strike. So I'm like, no, that's not, I don't get a strike on my channel, but it gets, like, they copyright it and then they take all the money. Like, by that point, everybody's watching the video anyway, who cares, right? But I don't know why it happens every time I throw up a TikTok in a video, so I'm not throwing up this TikTok. But basically, what he says in here, okay, is that they're asking him for influencer do's and don'ts. And then he says in there, well, don't, and they bleep it out, but basically he says, fuck. Now, if you watched my Peter Desto channel yesterday, I said, listen, I'm a cussing channel now, okay? This is my stand up for myself era. This is my I don't give a shit era, and this is my cussing era, okay? And I did yesterday, I said fuck on video. Oh my Lord! And then once I said it, I couldn't stop saying it. I was like, fuck, 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 fuck. I could not stop saying it. Go watch my water talk video on my Peter Desto. I was literally, people were like, you are unhinged in this video. I was so unhinged in that video. That was probably one of my favorite videos I have made in a very long time. Oh my Lord. I had so much fun. I was like pouring different things there. I was like, don't give a shit. Nope, don't give a shit. Fuck it. Don't give a shit. It was so much fun. But anyway, so basically they ask him, he and his wife Ela right here. Okay, hey Ela, how are you? And they say, what are influencer do's and don'ts? And he says basically don't F people that, you know, are not over the age of 18 years old, okay? And then he goes on and he says, that's like one thing, you know, that I would suggest and whatever. And then he says at the end of it, have y'all seen James Charles tonight? We already knew you were talking about James Charles, Ethan, okay? And then they put in here, they put this thing in there and it says, asterisk, asterisk, James Charles has admitted to sending, quote unquote, inappropriate photos, messages to a minor whom he says thought was 18, but he has never been legally charged. Okay, so they felt that it was important enough to include that little screenshot in there of you know, so the whole world don't know what James Charles did now, okay? Well, I mean, Gabrielle Bluestone says she don't know what James Charles did, but she might be the only person. I don't know, did you write this little thing in there for Gabrielle Bluestone in case she comes to People Magazine? Gabrielle Bluestone, who wrote the Cosmopolitan article about James Charles, and she said her and all her friends, none of them knew what James Charles had been implicated about or what his allegations were about. Did you write this right here for Gabrielle Bluestone? You should have put in here, this is for Gabrielle Bluestone for your research for your next article on James Charles, a defense piece called Please Uncancel Me Even Though I Can't Be Uncanceled. Okay, that's what you should have put on here, okay? Because everybody in the world, okay, everybody's dog, cat, and gerbil, Lord, don't even go to those Richard Gere rumors back in the day, okay? Everybody's dog, cat, gerbil, and butterfly in the world knows what James Charles did, except for Gabrielle Bluestone, who wrote the article in defense of James Charles. So this must just be for Gabrielle Bluestone. That's the only thing I can think. So anyway, they put that in there. But then I started getting all these messages from people, and people are like, did you hear in Ethan Klein's H3? No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't, okay? I have to tell you how I feel about Ethan Klein. Now, Ethan Klein, he don't care about drama channels a whole lot, even though he considers himself a drama commentary channel. I just heard him say that in his video, or his podcast when I was watching it. He said, well, I do drama commentary. Okay, well, you do drama commentary, then you're a drama channel just like me, okay? I don't care if you got a lot more subscribers than me, but you wanted to dog a bunch of drama channels and say that you befriended drama channels. How do you befriend somebody that's in... You're the same thing, girl. But anyway, here's how I feel about Ethan Klein. Like, I either think Ethan Klein is real funny, and I, like, watch his podcast, I'm, like, laughing my ass off, or I feel like he really misses the mark and he's not funny at all, okay? So, like, for me, it's real give and take. But in all honesty, and I know that people love to watch the 3 and 4 hour podcasts and things like that. Listen, I can't, okay? Like, I can hardly get through them to cover them over here, okay? Now, I know a lot of people put them on in the background, things like that. No, not me. I watch Fear the Walking Dead, okay? I am so down the rabbit hole of the Walking Dead universe, you have no idea, okay? So, if I'm going to have something on the background, it's going to be the Walking Dead or a good drag pageant, okay? But no, from time to time, I do watch the H3 podcast, and I think they're real funny and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm kind of like, I don't really know that I get it. To be honest with you, most of the people they talk about on there, I don't even know who they are, okay? They're in communities that I don't know nothing about, so I don't even really know a lot about. So I watch his podcast when he talks about people that I do know who he's talking about and things like that, right? So anyway, I started getting all these messages that Ethan Klein in his podcast talked about seeing Tana Mongeau at the Streamy Awards, not the Steamies, okay? We already did all that. Okay. But at the streaming awards, Tana Mongeau was there, and that he asked her, he said, well, what's interesting about this is he goes in to talk about, okay, so Tana Mongeau, if you don't know, she was in James Charles Painted, his new launch brand that he has coming out, his Painted TikTok, where he shows up to her house, and he brings her his bucket of junk, okay? He brings her the Predator paint. And she's like, oh my God, James, I'm so excited. I can't believe, blah, blah, blah. JoJo Siwa's in it. Manny MUA's in it. All these people, blah, 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 whatever. All this kind of stuff, right? Okay. So, he shows up to her house, and she acts real excited and all this kind of stuff. Now, I even said in my video when I covered it, and a couple people were like, no, that's not true. She didn't seem like that at all. I felt like she seemed very uncomfortable with the fact that he was filming her while she was doing this. It just, something to me seemed like she wasn't super comfortable about this whole situation, right? Okay, so apparently on the red carpet, Ethan Klein says to her, I don't understand how you're friends with James Charles again. Because there had been a point when you could not shut Tana Mongeau's mouth up about anything to do with James Charles. She was coming out in her podcast and other podcasts and coming out all over the place about how she couldn't support him and he was a predator and all these kind of things. Okay, this was somebody that used to be very close with James Charles, was coming out and she was talking against him, right? Well, they apparently made up at Coachella. I'm sure maybe a few substances were involved on her part and all that, but apparently they made up at Coachella, and listen, it is what it is, okay? But apparently they made up at Coachella, and they posted a picture or something like that, or he posted it somewhere, them like kind of half hugging, and we made up and all this kind of stuff. So apparently, I don't know, when you're at Coachella and the music's good, you can forgive a predator, I guess. I guess all those opinions that you had that garnered you all those views, of people coming over to watch your podcast because you had opinions about your old friend James Charles being a predator, those don't matter when you're at Coachella. Oh, James Charles already learned that, because when James Charles took his 6 months off from the internet, he actually went to Camp Coachella with his girlfriends. James Charles' kind of go-to is always wearing weirdo outfits at Coachella with his ass cheeks showing out, okay? Listen, I didn't like chaps in 1990 when I came out into the gay community, and I don't like chaps today, okay? I think they're a bad look on anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the sexiest cowboy in the entire world. Well, I do love some country music from time to time, and I do love a good Western, and I did love that movie, Urban Cowboy. Did you ever watch that movie back in the day? Ah! Now, I love Deborah Winger so much, but I have to say, I did want to be that girl with that sassy, sophisticated cowboy hat and the long, dark hair. She was the one that left. John Travolta ended up with her, you know, and left Deborah Winger. But then they got back together. I love that movie so much. Do you remember that? That had that, oh my God, I love all that. I used to have the soundtrack. I used to dance in my living room when I was a little kid. I love that movie so much. But anyway, maybe only then a very, very sexy cowboy and chaps. But even then, I'm like, could you just take the chaps off because I want to see everything else? I don't really care about the chaps, okay? And James Charles, those chaps are a bad look, okay? You don't want, why are you wearing that, okay? Because you want to show off your BBL that you won't even come out and admit that you've had. Okay, girl, we already saw the ad on your Amazon for the Depends that you got after you got your BBL, okay? Unless you just get off on wearing Depends, and maybe you do because that's your age group. I don't know. Oh, no, that's not your age group, okay? Diapers are your age group. You are staying away from the Depends. I don't know who you were buying those Depends for. You couldn't say you were buying them from your grandpappy, okay? Because you ain't into all that. So anyway, so Ethan Klein on the red carpet, he asks Tana Mongeau, this is all in the podcast at the 40-minute mark, okay? Now, I should give a little shout-out to somebody who let the dogs out? Who? Okay, I can't even find now where, oh, here it is. So, Laura, I just want to say thank you to her because she was the one that gave me the actual timestamps. All these people were like, oh my Lord, did you see this podcast? I was like, I am not watching a 3-hour podcast to try to find this. But Laura gave me the exact timestamps. She should be the official, unofficial timestamp channel of Peter Monn. Laura! Oh my Lord. But anyway, so I thanked her for it because I was like, now I know exactly where to go and watch it. So I did. And in there he says, I asked Tina, like, why would you become friends with James Charles again? Now I'm just paraphrasing. Y'all can go watch it. It's literally about a 30-second clip, okay? What's interesting to me about this is, right before this, he's talking about how he met Manny MUA and what a nice guy Manny MUA was. And Manny talked about how he watched the podcast, and that he's a big supporter of Ethan Klein and all this kind of stuff. Of course Manny's a big supporter of Ethan Klein, because he don't want Ethan Klein talking about him. Manny's not, like, he might be a bad picker when it comes to friends, but Manny, he tries to play it smart. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. He don't, though. He don't play it smart at all. But anyway, so, but he's talking about how Manny is such a nice guy and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, now you're literally about to go in and start talking about Tana Mongeau and how she's friends with James Charles and why would she be friends with James Charles. But Ethan, have you not vetted your people out? Have you not done a background check? Do you not know about Manny MUA? Do you not know that Manny MUA is one of James Charles' biggest supporters ever? Biggest supporters, okay? And he was also in that TikTok with Tana Mongeau. So how are you going to meet Manny MUA? And you're not going to call Manny MUA. My neighbor is look across the street. She says, what are you watching me for?
Just listening to you carry on.
She just listened to me carry on. I'm not talking about Colleen Behringer today. She goes, now what are you talking about? The makeup industry. I had to explain to her about how I got my start back on doing the beauty influencer community. So anyway, okay, but did you not do your background check, Ethan Klein, on Manny MUA to know that Manny MUA is one of James Charles' biggest supporters in the entire world? But you're going to call out Tana Mongeau for her, like you should. I think you should. Okay, but why wouldn't you look at Manny MUA and be like, it's nice to meet you, Manny. Why do you support a predator? I would, if I had another phone call with Manny MUA, trust me. I asked him the first time I talked to him on the phone. I said, how do you continue to support James Charles? That was 2 years ago that I had that conversation with him. Oh, if you knew James behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. I go, Manny, there's factual evidence. I said this to him 2 years ago, right? People want to talk about how they have all these private conversations in DMs and they can't ask these people that. Ethan Klein says, why didn't you ask Manny MUA on the red carpet and say, why do you protect a predator? I don't give a shit where I was, okay? I don't care if I was sitting right next to him at the Streamy Awards or the Steamy Awards or the Oscars. I don't care. I'd say, Manny, why do you continue to support that predator? And no, you need to move away from me. I don't sit next to predator people. No way. Get away from me. And I can smell that. I can smell that predator support all over you. So I don't understand why he don't call Manny out, but he calls Tana out. So anyway, he calls Tana out and he says, I don't understand how you can be friends with James Charles again and whatever. And she says, oh my God. Basically what she says is that it was this huge mistake. She wished she was never in that TikTok and that she has no problem calling into the podcast and disavowing James Charles again. Okay? And then they go into this whole thing and they're like, this one guy's like, yeah, that's like really great. Like Tana's like one of the only friends that's speaking out against James Charles. Okay, for the 9 million people that are not going to watch the Ethan Klein's H3 podcast and hear that one tidbit of information, all they're going to see is James Charles' TikTok where Tana Mongeau is completely gracious to James Charles. Unless Tana Mongeau wants to come out in her own TikTok or her own Instagram story or her own video and disavow James Charles, I don't know why she feels the need to call into the H3 podcast. Why don't you take some responsibility, Tana Mongeau, and why don't you stand on the right side of history, okay? Why don't you take it into your own hands? Why does anybody take Tana Mongeau seriously anyway? Can somebody explain that to me? No, don't be coming for me and saying she's 20 years old. She is 25 years old, okay? She is a grown-ass adult. She is a grown-ass adult that to this day, I am still trying to understand, like David Dobrik and a lot of these other fools, how they ever got famous, okay? And is she still married to Jake Paul, or was that was all fakety-fakety, that she played it up like it was never fakety-fakety, but she's never come out and talked about that, but she came out and talked about her fakety-fakety divorce and all that kind of stuff? Why does anybody take Tana Mongeau seriously? Because her audience is 12 to 15-year-old girls that are like, oh my God, me and Tana, we're just like, we're so the same. Me and all my girlfriends, we just sit around and smoke blunts all day long and try on clothes and hang out on the couch and order Taco Bell. Oh my God, I got a gay friend just like Amari. I mean, is that what they are? I mean, that's her entire audience, right? Okay, that's what she's built her entire career on. Tana Mongeau has literally no talent whatsoever. And hey, I ain't saying that I got any talent, but I also don't have the following that Tana Mongeau does, okay? Is Tana Mongeau a good-looking young lady? Absolutely, she is. You know, is Tana Mongeau charismatic? Absolutely, she is. Is she a good storyteller? I mean, her stories aren't true, but yeah, she's a good storyteller, okay? But does she have any talent? No. She's coming out with an album anytime soon. What happened to her good friendship with Paris Hilton? She develops these friendships that are beneficial to her, and then they're gone with the wind. I'm so confused by it, okay? You know, it's just like, I'm so confused why we want to take Tana Mongeau seriously. Oh, she's the only one from that friend group that has stepped away from James Charles. They should all step away from James Charles. Why are we crediting Tana Mongeau with doing... She hasn't stepped away from James Charles, first of all, okay? So let's not give her credit on something that she hasn't done. She didn't call into that podcast and disavow James Charles. She said she would do that, okay? Number one. Number two, she came out, this is going to stop, hold on a second. Number two, she came out in numerous podcasts, on her own podcast and other podcasts, and said things about James Charles and how she couldn't continue to stand by him and he was a predator and all these things. She made very blatant statements against James Charles, but then had no problem forgiving him at Coachella. To me, that's flaky, okay? That's flaky, and that's saying you just want to appease the person that's standing in front of you. You don't really stand by your convictions, your integrity, or your morals, okay? So everything that Tana Mongeau said before she forgave James Charles, when James Charles, I'm not saying that James Charles isn't forgivable, but he hasn't done anything to demonstrate why he should be forgiven for this. He hasn't come out and taken accountability or shown how he's changed or talked about therapy or how he's taken a look at these problematic things that he's done in his past. He hasn't done any of that, right? Okay, so she forgave him at Coachella, which basically erases everything that she ever said about him. Then she's in this TikTok, which, trust, okay, it wasn't like James Charles just showed up at her house out of the blue and she had no idea that he was going to show up, which is how they make it seem, okay? He called her ahead of time and said, hey, I'm going to show up with my PR package. Can we film? Okay, trust me. Trust me, those are conversations that go on behind the scenes. There's no way they would just show up and surprise Tana Mongeau, okay? They make it look that way, but that's not what happens, okay? Tana Mongeau knew before James Charles showed up to her house that he was coming there to film this TikTok as marketing for his predator paint, okay? And she allowed that to happen. She knew that. So then she's going to see Ethan Klein on the red carpet at the streamings and say, I'm so sorry for my involvement with James Charles. I'll call in and I will disavow. Girl, what? And next week when the wind blows the other way, you'll be kissing James Charles' cheek and letting him redo your face with that paint, the predator paint? Next week you'll do that? And then when you see Ethan Klein who calls you out quickly, and you're so afraid of Ethan Klein calling you out because Ethan Klein might have some major effect on your career because he has a huge following. Then when you see him again, you'll be like, oh, Ethan, I'm so sorry that I did that video with James Charles where he was putting predator paint all over my face. Y'all are fakes and phonies. Y'all are absolute fakes and phonies, okay? And this is why I don't understand why anybody chooses to follow them. Good for Ethan Klein for calling Tana out, okay? But until she calls in and disavows James Charles, I think he should hold her to that. I think Ethan should call her up and say, you said you were going to call in and disavow James Charles. When's that going to happen? It's been several days now. Okay, where's your TikTok and your Instagram reel to follow where you come out and you say, okay, I forgave James Charles. I can no longer do that. Where's that, Tana? Okay? You know? Let your walk match your talk. That's what I want to see with these people. I am so tired of seeing these people say what sounds good so that they can get out of shit to save their careers, but in reality, they don't really care about stuff that matters, okay? They only care about when it affects them and their almighty dollar. That's all they care about, you know? And it makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick. Tana Mongeau, psh, she's another one of Jaclyn Hill's fart ideas. She's a joke to me. Tana Mongeau, she's a joke. And she's probably got more money than God. She never films videos anymore anyway. She don't have to. She travels the world, you know? With that, Bella, what's that girl's name? Bella, I don't even know what her name is. Somebody told me she was so good in this movie. I watched this movie. I was like, what's her name? Bella, I can't even think of her name. She wishes she was friends with that Bella Hadid. She's not. What's that girl, that Bella, why can't I think of her name now? It's going to drive me crazy. I got to look it up. Hold on a second. Oh, I was looking at these Downy birth scents because I just put on my new Whitney Houston shirt. It smells so good. Those Downy Fresh things. Bella Thorne. I didn't even get to it yet. Look, Bell Tire near me, but I didn't even get to it. Bella Thorne. I'm Bella Thorne. I'm Bella Thorne. Who'd care? Has been. Has been. Tana Mongeau has been. Said it. Don't care. David Dobrik. I don't care if you got 1 million followers, 10 million followers, 100 million followers. Has been. Boring. Don't care. People are like, Peter, ain't nobody watching you the way they're watching David Dobrik. Don't care. Boring. Don't care. Justine. Boring. Said it. Sorry. Boring. New Apple phone. Bye. Love you guys. Boring. Don't care. F it. See you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.